My name is Semira Azadzoi, and what I did for my project, senior project, was Ethnomusicology, which is the study of cultural music and ethnic groups. And I specifically studied in Afghanistan. And what I wanted to find out was all my life I was listening to music, Afghan music, but I was never aware of it. And now I wanted to figure out where did this music come from, who made it popular, and why was it this style, how did these styles come from? So first I want to show you hold on. Okay, first I want to show you a map of Afghanistan. This is an ethnic map, and it will show you that this is the Pashtun majority of the ethnic group, which they conquer most of Afghanistan. And then there are around these countries are Iran, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Pakistan, and China. So if you look at Afghanistan, it is surrounded by a bunch of cultural countries. And the way I noticed in Afghanistan was that the music in different areas, like the north, south, east, and west, were different from each other in the early 1900s. So the way I separated the music was the north is Mazar-e-Sharif, which means north of Afghanistan. The east is Kabul, which is the capital of Afghanistan. South is Kandahar, where most Pashtun people stay there, and the west is Herat, which is a province. The next map I want to show you is the provinces of Afghanistan. And another thing that I found out when I was studying my project of Afghan music was that whenever there was too much styles of music, specifically they were identified by the provinces. So where a style of music that's really popular is Badakhshi. So when you look in Badakhshan, northeast of Afghanistan, they would just add an I at the end and make it say Badakhshi. Or music from Kabul, they would call it Kabuli. And then music from Herat, Herati. Or Logar, Logari. So these are the things that I noticed when I was studying the maps and the music and how to identify what was going on, like how to identify each style of where it's coming from. What I found out how the music started in the early 1900s were these three major ustads. Ustad Qasim, he was from Afghanistan originally, but he had studied music from northern India, and he introduced northern classical Indian music, a new style of poems, which is ghazal. This is the terms. Ghazal is a style of music that is a combination of Persian poetic literature, and it uses rags of northern classical Indian music, which is a medallic mode in northern Indian classical music, and they mix it together to make it sound more Afghan, just to identify the Afghan style of classical music. So they used old poetic literature from back in the 1500s, even way back, from philosophers and things. They used those poems and put into music to make it sound meaningful, because the poems meant so much meaning. Some words that I want you to know is mast, which is it's a meaning of fast, enjoyment of music. So if I play music really fast and style popular music, that's mast. Shauki means it's kind of for Americans it's a hobby, but in Afghanistan it's more of a important type of hobby. You actually do the highest performance of it. like you try to study as much as you can about it, but they're like bird fighting as a hobby, buzkashi, which is sport in Afghanistan. They use horses and goats to play, and drinking tea in samawads, which is a tea house, like a coffee house, tea house, where people gathered and listened to music. And music was one of the shauki entertainments. Kili Wali means traditional folkloric local music from Pashtun, for Pashtun meaning. But then Mahali means the same thing, just in the Persian version, because there's two languages in Afghanistan. The main ones are Farsi, also called Dari, and Pashto. Now, back to the major three. Ustad Ghulam Hussain, he came from northern India, and he brought more Indian, more like traditional Indian classical music with rags and things, but he didn't do a combination of poetic things. He just did instrumental. But he is the father of Ustad Sarahang, who became really popular, and he was claimed the master of northern classical Indian music. I'll show you him later. But I forgot to mention, Ustad means professional master of music or any subject. They are given the title Ustad. So Farooq Effendi, he came from Turkey, and he showed the importance of military music. So he did a little bit of Western influence, but then he tried to study the traditional music of Afghanistan and show it to all the people around Afghanistan in the local areas that couldn't get that much of the shareness of it. One thing that I found out too, when I found out the music in Afghanistan was starting to become mixed together with different styles, I realized that I found out that the Kabul radio helped share the music in Afghanistan. So people that were isolated in Badakhshi, which is like a mountainous area that you saw in the northeast, they were usually, the music there is really pure, Badakhshi style, but then they found out some new music by the radio. And they learned different styles, and they used the combination of the different styles from the south and the east and the west, and they just put the music together to make it sound more nicer and flourishing. But and now I want to show you some instruments of Afghanistan, which I have a few. These three are the stringed instruments of Afghanistan. The tambur, that's played in Herat, the west, like Irani style, like thinking of, dutar or what is it called, sitar, like really fast-paced music. So is the dutar from Herat, and this is from northern Afghanistan, which is has no frets. And these instruments, this is called daira. Usually women play this and children. Not that many men play it, but it's held like this and played like that. This is another instrument. This kind of has a Western influence, Northern influence, and it has some jingles inside. Oops. This is a rabab. This is considered the main national instrument of Afghanistan. I'll play it soon. And this is the influence of northern Indian classical music that was put together in Afghanistan. I'll give you a little sound of it really quick. They use this in classical ghazal, like singing, like. But now I'll show you some videos of the different styles of music in Afghanistan, so then you can hear the actual instruments that I don't have with me. I want to show you first the music of Kabul. Hold on a sec. First, I'll show you Badakhshan style, from Badakhshi. My father videotaped this man playing in a bazaar, and he was playing in the street. So I'll just show you that. Hold on. I guess there's no sound. Okay. So that's an example of Northern Indian music, and then some music of Kabul, Ustad Sarahang.
As a child, coming to the city
He was the
and
most
then going
influenced.
back and walking through this whole lane. As far as I remember, all the houses were 2 stories. So as you walked, you could hear different types of music playing from either this or that house, and from each window, open window, you could hear a different type of music or different types of instruments being played, being taught. Some people were trying to make their pitch sort of louder than the others so that they could dominate this whole area. One of the most important people was Sarahang. He gave this place a special status. He tried to marry the traditional Afghan folk music with the classical, sort of hardcore classical music. One of his very famous songs was Jane Kharabat, which was referring to this place, and it begins with this verse which says Chun Jane Kharabatam, Janane Kharabatam, which means as I am the spirit of Kharabat, of this place, and the beloved of the Kharabat and those people who belong to Kharabat.
Okay, so that's Kabuli music, and now I want to show you from my rabab music from the south with this rabab. It's a popular type style of massed music, pretty fast and fast-paced. This is how it starts. Another thing that I want to play, I was wondering if you guys would like to try it. Could I ask one of you to volunteer and play a drum?
I'll volunteer.
All right, just for fun. This is Shamali style. It's a 4-beat music, and it goes like this. But you can go slow, so I'll play. Just try your best. And
Oh no, I gotta practice.
You gotta practice?
No, you gotta help me.
All right. It's a very nice music.
I thought that would help, but
This style is called Katairani, and it's very popular.
No, girl, you gotta help me out.
I'll show you.
So we gotta do it. Can we play together so you can teach me first?
Okay. It's an easy beat.
Wait.
I could try this. So it just goes like this. Can you do that the whole time? Just, it's an easy song. I think you'll catch up if I play it. I'll play it really.
So if I,
It's okay. It's okay.
And pass me off, girl. Okay.
It's okay. Don't worry.
Can I practice one more time?
Yeah.
And you tell me like faster or slower.
Um.
Well, okay.
All right. Just keep that. Good job. Very good job. That was really good. That was really good. The first try, right? That was really good. All right. So this music, studying Afghanistan's music was really special to me, and I've learned a lot. And the reason why I did this project was, first of all, just to, figure out where this music came from, my history, because I'm going to study this music, for the whole time, and maybe till I'm older and older, as I get older or whatever. But also the reason why I did this is because I've noticed that the young generation of Afghanistan did not, because of the Taliban and the Soviet, they were isolated they were banned from playing music for 20 years, from the 1980s to 2001. So this was, the reason why I did this project was to, just to keep it, preserve it. And if anyone wants to know what the music is, they can look in the website and learn the basics of Afghanistan style, and learn it from you can get it from YouTube, and I know I've learned the exact styles. And this is also for not also young generation of Afghans, but also for non-Afghans who are interested, like Americans, anyone, outsiders, anyone can learn this. So it's pretty fun. And I don't have enough time, do I? All right, that's it. Any questions? Yeah.
When did you, how and when did you learn how to play? Was it a family event or?
Well, about a year and a half ago, I startled from a CD that my dad had of this guy, Ustad Muhammad Amar, and I heard the CD and I listened to it. Then I told my dad, I said, I have to get this instrument, I want to learn it. So then he had a friend and from California, and he brought the instrument here. But the thing I can't tell you is how I tuned it. I did it by hearing. So it's a talent thing, I guess.
So you're self-taught?
Yeah, self-taught. Any other questions? Yeah?
Or, I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a question. When you were talking about your reason for doing this being to preserve the music before the Russian
Yeah.
invasion and stuff, do you think that nowadays the youth of Afghanistan are rediscovering this music?
Yes, there is a few ethnomusicologists that I contacted, and they've been trying to, there's this guy named Nasir Sarmast. He's been trying to set up a musical department in Afghanistan, Kabul, and try to get the kids to learn some Western music instruments and traditional music instruments. But
Is there a lot of difficulty with what's going on?
there is some difficulty to get some kids to play music because a lot of the adults, they're still a little bit trying to get easy from the Taliban and everything. They're trying to, forget about the past and trying to, be new, do new things. But it's a little bit hard to just play music outside in Afghanistan. But you saw that I showed you the northern guy playing instrument, but he's an old guy, so he knows some music from back then. But they're learning, but it's going to take a while to bring it back.
Have you been to Afghanistan?
I went there once when I was 10 years old, about 7 years ago, and that was in 2003. I didn't really wasn't really aware of everything, but I remember looking at the landscape and I saw buildings and broken buildings and things, but everyone was nice there. All the Afghans were nice, and I really loved it there. It was really it was really peaceful from back then, but I don't know how it is now. It's probably still trying to bring it back up, and I don't know about the countryside, but I was in Kabul, so that was pretty safe there. It was nice. Yes?
You talked about how one of the big three kind of brought an Indian style appeal or Indian style music north to Afghanistan, and since Afghanistan has had its own musical capabilities in the last 9 years, as you stated, has the Afghan music style movement reached out of Afghanistan?
Oh, yes.
Out elsewhere, and where so?
Since the Taliban time, the ustads that were there in Kharabat that I showed you that in the video, there were a lot of musicians there that were very, they're professional in all the styles. The Taliban told them they were either they stopped playing music and stay in Afghanistan, or they had to get out. They kicked them out in Afghanistan. These musicians are, it's like Ustad Mawash. She can be found in Europe. So then a lot of Afghans here that learn and play music, they're either now the residents in California or Virginia or New York. That's where I've met a rebab player named Umayun Sahi. He's one of the young, maybe 30 or 40 years old. He's one of the young generations of playing rebab music, but he plays more of a Pakistani style than an Afghan style. So Indian, he plays more of an Indian type of style. But yeah, that's there are some old ustads around, but they're getting really old now, and it's really hard to meet them now because they're getting tired and they don't want to. They still play music, but it's kind of hard to find them and ask them to play music again of what it was back then. Any other questions?
Can you talk a little bit about the process of your project? Specifically, were there some obstacles that you ran into?
There were, yeah, there was some obstacles I ran into. When I first started the Afghan music, I tried to listen to all the styles from back then in the 1900s, and then I was getting a little bit crazy. I was like, what's going on? What is this? What is this? What is this? So then I had to organize it somehow in a way, because every time I looked at the ethnomusicologist books who wrote about Afghanistan, like Mark Slobin and John Bailey, who I also met, they wrote about like a specific type of Afghanistan, like the west of Afghanistan, Herat. And then they went to specifics of like the instruments of this type, this style. And then, or like the northern Afghanistan, they talked about the more than ethnic groups than Tajiks and Uzbeks. They talked more and more ethnic groups, and that was just getting a little bit too crazy. So I try to get the basics out first before I got into more of the depth of Afghanistan. So that was a really hard obstacle to to separate Afghanistan, try to organize it into different groups of what style was going on first, and then it mixed. So yeah, that was the hardest part that I had with my project during the process.
Did you learn anything, about yourself or any new skill as a result?
Yes,
of this process?
I learned a lot studying with also my cousin who plays tabla with me, like a drum. It's 2 drums. I learned more new styles of Afghanistan, which I just played, the Logari style, the south, and Katagani. And I mean, before I only knew like 3 songs, and I was like, I can't play this all the time, like this Indian song and then this Afghan song from Kabul. I was getting kind of like boring. I wanted to learn more and more. I wanted to see what styles were there in Afghanistan, learn it myself, and because it gets more exciting when you learn more. And so I learned a bunch of other styles of Afghanistan, and that was pretty fun. So with the help of my cousin. And I figured out the influences of the countries that brought it in the styles and the music. Any other questions?
Thank you.
All right, thank you.